So Minky and I watched The Acolyte, like when it was coming out. Like every week we watched a new episode, and it was great. Like I don't know what is wrong with everyone that was like, oh, this is like the worst thing ever. This is the line where Star Wars has gone south. Is The Acolyte? Are you kidding me? Most of the Disney Plus shows have not been overly great. Sure, Mandalorian, the beginning was great, and then it just sort of became only when the Mandalorian is on, it's great, and you know, Grogu and stuff. Book of Boba Fett, kind of silly, but he rides a Rancor, and that was fun, and Cad Bane shows up. Obi-Wan, I don't know why they made it. Andor, amazing. But Acolyte, I thought this was really good from the standpoint it was different, and it wasn't just like, hey, let's pull in like fan service characters and do stuff that we don't need. Kind of like the Solo movie. Like if you saw the Solo movie, you were just like, why does this movie exist? It wasn't bad. It was a pretty decent movie. I just did not need answers to any of those questions. But it was cool to see Darth Maul again. Anyway, he's in there. Spoiler, that's an old movie. So Acolyte. Well, I think the issue with Acolyte, the big issue is they just spent way too much money on it, and not enough people watched it, so they canceled it, and that sucks. But I think the bigger issue is the fandom really got behind crapping all over it and didn't give it like any kind of fair shake, because it has the best lightsaber action in anything Star Wars. Like it's up there with like video game level stuff. It's up there with like the Ryan versus Dorkman like fan videos. Those are like the best lightsaber battles. And anytime you're watching Star Wars, especially as a kid, you're like, why doesn't he throw the lightsaber? Why doesn't he like turn off the other guy's lightsaber? Why doesn't he like punch him? You know, like these different things. And in the Holy Trilogy, it kind of gets away with it because you got Darth Vader. He's more machine than man. He's an asthmatic robot that smells like feet. You know, he can't move around very much. Obi-Wan, crazy old, about to die anyway. He's got a bad hip. He can't move around. And Luke does not know what he's doing. That is the greatest part of the Star Wars movies, is Luke basically has no training throughout any of it. He gets like a tiny bit of training from Yoda, while Yoda is old and like senile and crazy and just, maybe like jump over rocks and stuff like that. And so Luke never gets like real training. So there's good lightsaberness kind of in Jedi, but the rest of it's pretty basic stuff. Prequels then really had the chance to do some really cool things, because Jedi's height of their power, they should be jumping and flipping and doing stuff, but they just don't make it great. It's very inconsistent. Like the Obi-Wan, like, oh, I can be super fast when I'm escaping this droideka in the beginning of the movie, but when Qui-Gon needs me later in the, like shoom part with Darth Maul, like he can't get through that, and then all that stuff. But in this series, the lightsaber stuff is amazing. They got the Stranger, right, which is kind of a cool name. He's doing martial arts. He's punching people. They got the Jedi Squid Games guy. He's doing martial arts. They're martial artsing and fighting each other and throwing the lightsabers, controlling them with the Force, bringing them back, trying to get them. And they're bringing in like Legends content that I totally forgot existed. When I was a kid, we had like, Star Wars. And then we had nothing ever. We had books and a couple video games that were okay. And in those books, they had all sorts of stuff like the lightsaber whip. You're almost thinking like, oh man, is Uzon Vaughn going to show up in this? That was kind of cool to see. I don't really know how it works, but whatever. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and say there can be lightsaber whips. And they have cortosis, which is like it's a metal, kind of like Beskar, rare metal, and it has the ability to turn lightsabers off. And that's this guy, the Stranger, makes a helmet out of it, and he headbutts a lightsaber to turn it off, and then chops a Jedi. How is that not cool? How is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen, and you can forgive the bad writing? Because it was badly written. I'll give it that, but isn't kind of all of Star Wars badly written? Like there's Andor, and maybe Rogue One, and the rest of it's kind of garbage writing and very thin plot and silly characters. But it's okay, we love it because there's lightsabers and you can, grab a lightsaber and swing it around in your garage. That's all I really want out of my Star Wars, and Acolyte really delivered on that. I think people just didn't get what it was trying to do, and maybe they didn't get what it was trying to do, but I think what was happening is they got the two girls, and the jump you got to make is they're the same girl. So the whole Acolyte story is that one girl is trained by the Jedi and one girl is trained by the Sith, but really, since they're the same girl, they're both getting all that training. And what training takes? It's the Sith training, because the Jedi are kind of corrupt and crappy, and there's all this about background stuff going on, and the Jedi training doesn't really take because it's disingenuous. And the Sith training, which is true to your hatred or whatever, takes, and it allows the girl to reach out with her mind and crush the windpipe of the Squid Games guy. And I think that's the whole, like, I don't know. I have a toddler. If you have a toddler and a toddler gets excited and tries to tell you a story, it's the Acolyte. That's basically what happened. They're just too excited and they didn't explain it very well. But it's awesome to watch, and I wish you guys would have given it a chance, because I will never learn of the tragedy of Darth Pelagius the Wise, who shows up in the end of it, only to be like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Yoda shows up. We're like, we could get more young, flippy, spinny, crazy Kermit Yoda, but no, you guys are like, this is horrible. I'm going to complain about it. You guys don't like anything. If Star Wars comes out and it's too like Star Wars, you hate it. If Star Wars comes out and it's too different from Star Wars, you hate it. If it has the same characters you've seen before, you hate it. If it has new characters, you hate it. Just stop hating it. Just get excited about it. Please do not crush the next new property that comes out of the Star Wars universe. For my sake, please.